Hello, Mark. Nice to be with you.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. So I've got a few questions that I love to ask you. I think that the really amazing thing is that, of course, Chelsea was the first club in the world to adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism. Why?
Well, I think anti-Semitism is something where if you're going to fight it, if you're going to try and get rid of it, you need a proper definition of it. Because if you just go around and ask 20 people what anti-Semitism is, I think you'll get more than 20 different answers. So we thought it was important to adopt the definition. It's, I think, 38 or 40 words. It's pretty straightforward and pretty clear, and that enables us to fight something that we can really get our hands on.
How have you managed to inspire the traditional supporter base, the traditional staff base, to come along for the journey in the Abramovich era?
Well, I think we all recognize the power of sport, and maybe even more importantly than sport generally, the power of football. It's the most important sport in the world. Millions, maybe billions of people are talking about it and watching it every single day. And sport and football enables us to get your attention and his attention and her attention. And that relates to the supporters in Mitcham, and that relates to the supporters in Miami. And once you've got their attention, then your efforts have to be focused to giving them the right message, to educate them in the right way, which you're an expert at. And that's all we're trying to do for our fans that are around the corner and for our fans around the world, is to get their attention and give them the right message. And it seems to be working at least a bit.
Well, I only really have one more question for you, which is not, are you going to win the Premiership this year? Although, please God. It's simply, given that the theme is for Holocaust Memorial Day this year is about being a light in the darkness, standing up and making a difference. Just be nice to know, who do you personally admire, inside or outside of football, for being a light in the darkness?
Well, I admire a lot of people. I guess just focusing on football, and even more narrow, focusing on anti-discrimination activities, I guess I could mention two people. One is Herman Ousley, Lord Ousley, who is an immigrant, I believe, from the Caribbean, who has pretty much invested his whole life when he was working for councils, when he was in the government, on anti-discrimination activities. And around 1992, shortly after the Premier League was formed, in conjunction with a couple of other football people, he formed an entity called Kick It Out, which has been fighting discrimination for 25 years. And I think he was probably the first one that explained to me that it's all about education. And he's now recently retired from Kick It Out, and that organization will continue. But that's been the key organization in fighting discrimination in football for 25 years. The other person I want to mention, I guess, is John Mann, Lord Mann, who I've only known for a couple of years. And I guess we would, a former member of parliament, I guess now we would call him, I don't know what his official title is, but he's the anti-Semitism czar for the government.
Yes, the independent advisor to the government on anti-Semitism.
And he has also done, I think, an amazing job for a long time, but certainly for the 3 years or so that I've known him. So I guess those are the two that I would mention to you today.
Well, good choices and inspiring men. And John, of course, is with us this morning. So everyone will get to see why you mentioned him. Bruce, really good of you to join us and good to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mark. It was a pleasure.